Imagine it. One ordinary day, somewhere around 40,000 years ago, humanity just stopped. Our bones, brains, and genes freeze in time. No new adaptations, no genetic tweaks to resist disease, no fresh ideas wired into our neurons. Evolution hits the cosmic pause button, and we stay exactly as we were. At first glance, it doesn't sound so bad, right? After all, by then we already had language, cave art, stone tools, and the knack for hunting mammoths. What else did we really need? But here's the catch. Evolution isn't just about making us smarter or taller. It's the quiet, invisible shield that keeps us alive when the world changes. When a new disease shows up, when the climate turns colder, or when food sources vanish, it's tiny random mutations spreading through a population that give us a fighting chance. Without that, a new plague sweeps the land, and no one has natural resistance. Ice sheets creep south, changing plants and animals, but our bodies can't adapt to the cold, or to a diet that's suddenly missing mammoth steaks and filled with nuts and fish. Over centuries, the small but crucial improvements that would have kept us thriving just never happen. It's easy to forget. Modern humans didn't invent cities, agriculture, or smartphones on day one. It took thousands of years, and along the way, evolution quietly shaped our brains, hands, and even our social instincts. If evolution stopped, our brains wouldn't keep refining. Maybe they'd stay just smart enough for small hunter-gatherer bands, but not quite wired for writing, mathematics, or complex society. Imagine a world where humans always remain stuck in prehistory. No pyramids or cathedrals, no written language, no science, medicine, or space travel. And here's the dark irony. The human story isn't a single heroic leap forward. It's millions of tiny, often random steps, many we never even notice. Stop those, and we stop history itself. So let's keep imagining. Somewhere back in the Ice Age, evolution hits pause on humanity. Our brains, bodies, and instincts stay exactly the same, frozen at the level of small hunter-gatherer tribes. At first, life wouldn't look so different. People would still gather on fires, tell stories, and paint animals on cave walls. We'd still make stone tools, the same hand axes and scrapers, passed down from parent to child for thousands of years. But here's the problem. Culture and technology aren't just about clever ideas. They're about having the brains, memory, and social wiring to share, refine, and build on those ideas. Without evolution nudging our brains toward better abstract thinking and planning, those sparks of genius would flare up and die out. Imagine someone invents a better spearhead, but in a world frozen by evolution, maybe that person can't quite explain it to others. Or maybe the tribe doesn't remember it well enough to keep making it after that person is gone. Slowly, every breakthrough fades back into myth and rumor. Art might still exist, handprints on cave walls, simple carvings of animals, but it would never move beyond that. No written language, no monumental architecture, no complicated rituals involving entire cities. Stories would remain oral, legends whispered around the fire, forgotten when the storyteller dies. Trade? Maybe small exchanges of shells and beads between neighboring clans. But the idea of connecting thousands of people in a trading network or organizing large-scale agriculture would never take hold. Why? Because the mental leap it takes, imagining people you've never met, trusting them to trade fairly, planning harvests years in advance, depends on subtle evolutionary changes to memory, language, and social reasoning. And that's the tragedy of this frozen world. Humanity wouldn't live in poverty because we lacked raw intelligence. We'd live in poverty because we couldn't pass it on. Each generation would start almost from scratch, stone tools, hunting skills, and oral stories, always at risk of being lost when disaster strikes. By comparison, the real Homo sapiens did evolve. just enough to keep adding, sharing, and refining ideas. And slowly, over thousands of years, stone tools turned into cities, ships, telescopes, and rockets. In this frozen timeline, that chain breaks. Technology stays simple. Culture stays local. The universe remains small. A few valleys, a few rivers, and the stories of your ancestors. Let's zoom out. In this alternate timeline, Homo sapiens remains stuck in the Ice Age mindset. Small bands of hunter-gatherers, stone tools, and oral stories. No agriculture, no metal, no writing, no machines. So, what happens to Earth itself? First, the obvious. Without farming, the landscape stays mostly wild. No vast wheat fields stretching across continents. No rice paddies, no cornfields, no terraced hills. Forests remain forests. Grasslands remain grasslands. Millions of wild animals roam freely because humans never learned to fence them out, breed them, or cut down their habitats. The great extinction events humans caused, wiping out mammoths, giant sloths, saber-toothed cats, might still happen, but slower and on a smaller scale. Without evolving better hunting strategies and weapons, we'd struggle to wipe out entire species. Fast forward thousands of years. No cities, no roads, no mines. The air remains clean. The rivers stay clear. Whales sing undisturbed and oceans never touched by harpoons. The night sky stays black and brilliant, free from light pollution. And no plastic ever washes up on beaches, because no one invents it. Climate change. It still happens naturally. Ice ages come and go. But without agriculture and industrial revolutions, humanity never pumps billions of tons of carbon into the air. No fossil fuels burned. No sprawling factories or cars. The planet breathes easier, and wild ecosystems continue, almost unchanged, for millennia. Yet it wouldn't be paradise. Life for humans would remain brutal, short, and uncertain. Disease, hunger, and injury would claim lives early. And for all its beauty, nature wouldn't care. Predators still hunt, winters still kill, and disaster can wipe out entire clans. And here's the real twist. Without us evolving into city builders, writers, scientists, and engineers, the world remains quiet. No poetry, no symphonies, no paintings of stars from a telescope's eye. The planet stays beautiful, but also silent, unshaped by curious minds. In this frozen timeline, Earth wins. Forests remain ancient and deep, rivers run wild, and countless species we've lost in real life keep thriving. But humanity? We remain scattered shadows at the edge of history, never building, never exploring, never leaving more than footprints and handprints on stone. Step back and look at Earth as a whole, not just a place humans live, but a living system billions of years in the making. In our timeline, Homo sapiens became the single most disruptive force this planet has ever seen, cutting forests, changing rivers, moving species across continents, burning fossil fuels, and even reshaping the climate itself. But what if we'd stayed frozen? What if evolution had pressed pause and left us as small bands of hunters and gatherers forever? First, the obvious. Nature keeps more of its wild glory. Great forests still stretch from ocean to ocean, unbroken by highways or cities. Savannas remain crowded with giant herbivores because we never hunt them to extinction for ivory or hides. Oceans teem with whales, fish, and coral reefs unbleached by warming seas. Without advanced tools or ships, we remain coastal visitors, never deep-sea conquerors. The air stays cleaner, too. No burning coal, no gasoline, no factories coughing out smoke. Rivers run clear, lakes remain pure, and the great ice sheets retreat and advance in slow, natural rhythms instead of melting under human-driven climate change. The carbon still locked in the ground stays there, never unleashed by engines, steel mills, and power plants. In a sense, the Earth keeps breathing in its ancient, steady rhythm. Even species that, in our world, disappeared, like the great auk, the dodo, or the passenger pigeon, might survive for centuries longer, because humanity never grows large enough, organized enough, or hungry enough to wipe them out. Insects, amphibians, and delicate plants that today teeter on the edge of extinction could remain abundant, filling forests and wetlands. But there's irony too. Earth's fate might be quieter, but also lonelier. No towering cities lit by electricity, no music echoing from concert halls, no poems, novels, or symphonies describing the beauty of the very world we're saving. No satellites circling the planet to photograph clouds and coastlines. No astronauts looking down from orbit, whispering blue marble in awe. And no scientists tracking species to protect them, because there's no science at all. Without Homo sapiens evolving, the planet stays greener, wilder, and older. But it never hears its own story told. And the Earth's greatest storyteller, us, remains locked in the Stone Age, staring at the stars, never knowing what they really are. So what about us? These forever prehistoric Homo sapiens, frozen in evolutionary time. What's our final chapter? At first glance, life goes on much as it always has. Small clans roam forests, fish in rivers, hunt animals that wander too close. We tell stories by firelight, of spirits in the sky, of heroic ancestors, of monsters in the dark. We raise children, bury the dead, and leave handprints on cave walls as proof we existed. But the world keeps changing, even if we don't. Ice ages come and go. Seas rise and swallow coastlines. Forests turn into grasslands. Deserts spread across continents. And all the while, we stay the same. Same tools, same minds, same fears and hopes. When mammoths and giant sloths disappear, we can't adapt quickly enough to new prey. When the climate grows harsh, we can't invent new shelters, clothes, or farming to keep ourselves fed. And when new diseases emerge, carried by animals, insects, or other clans, we have no new genetic defenses to fight them. Little by little, clan after clan vanishes. Not in a single apocalypse, but in a slow fading, a winter too harsh, a drought too long, a disease too deadly. Some survive in hidden valleys or remote islands, living out centuries unchanged. But numbers shrink. Language fragments into countless dialects, then slips away when the last speaker dies. And eventually, the last human footprints on a muddy riverbank wash away in the rain. No monuments mark our passing. No libraries, no pyramids, no ruins of great cities. The forests close over the places we camped, and wind and rain erase the stories we painted on cave walls. To the planet, it's a gentle ending. Humanity drifts quietly into extinction, leaving Earth wild and clean, as if we had never been. And yet, there's something quietly tragic here. All the art we could have made, the poems, the laughter echoing in cities that were never built, the children who never looked up at the moon and asked, what if we could go there? All of it unimagined, unspoken, unborn. A species that almost reached for the stars, but stayed staring at them from the dark edge of the forest.